It's Monday, October 14th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure to hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted when the newest video drops. Without further ado, let's get right into what's happening. We have a lot to talk about today. We no doubt probably live in the most dangerous time, the most dangerous point in U.S. history. We're looking at these wars, the proxy wars, the political uncertainty, the terrible economy, spiritual warfare. There is so much happening right now, so much that is just accelerating, unlike any time we have ever seen. We have a very divided nation. We have a nation that is majority living paycheck to paycheck. We are a bankrupt nation. The moral decay that we're witnessing, the societal decay that we're witnessing take place. We've never seen anything like this before, and you must be preparing, and you cannot be one-dimensional. Too many people are just going, oh, if I just put enough money away, I'm going to be able to buy a house for 50% off, and I'm going to be able to buy stocks for 50% off, and life's going to be wonderful. You better be preparing spiritually. You better be preparing mentally. You better be preparing physically, because there are serious things coming to America. We are going to see chaotic times. And I was watching a video today on the New York Post and reading this article. It's titled "Video of Ravens Fan Brutally Punching two Commanders Fans." And I guess this happened over the weekend. I watched the video, and you have a big bully running up to these two smaller Commanders fans, and he just punches the first one in the face, knocking him into a car and knocking him unconscious. Then he goes after the second one, where he grabs him and throws him into a brick wall and tries to punch him numerous times. Things are really escalating in our society where it is literally unsafe now to go to a football game. People are brutal. The amount of brutality that we're seeing on the streets of America just at a sporting event is absolutely insane, in my opinion. Somebody commented a couple days ago on one of my videos that, I don't need to be boxing. And I couldn't disagree more, because when I watch stuff like this, it keeps me on track to continue my boxing, my jiu-jitsu, continue going to the range, continue going to the gym, and continue being the hardest person in the room to kill, to be not a victim, but to be able to deal with encounters, to be able to deal with violence and engage with it if necessary. I'm not telling anybody to go out there and look for trouble, but these people weren't looking for trouble. This guy just ran right up to him and began assaulting them. So check out the video on the New York Post. This is why you should be boxing. This is why you should be doing jiu-jitsu. This is why you should be going to the range. This is why you should be getting in shape. If things are happening right now at a baseball game, a football game, and people can be this brutal, think about what they're going to do when they get hungry. Think about what they're going to do when the lights go out. Think about what they're going to do when inflation gets so out of control that their paychecks or their government subsidies don't buy anything. They're going to be angry. They're going to be hungry. And looking at this bully, I'll tell you, this is, again, why I train. And if this ever happened to me, it would turn out, I promise you, it would turn out a lot different than how it turned out here. This guy didn't know how to fight. He was sloppy. He was just a big bully. And he'll meet somebody at some point in his life that will, give him a serious wake-up call. And I hope he does, because I hate people like this. He's going to mess with the wrong person one day. So make sure you are getting the skills that you need to protect yourself, your family, because you may have to engage with somebody at some point. Heaven forbid, you may have to. I mean, that's the real world. I know that that's really scary for a lot of people, and people might tune out because of that, but you're living in a very, very violent world, ladies and gentlemen, and I've never seen so much violence in America that I'm seeing right now. So be ready for it, because it's probably closer than you think to affecting your life. And while all this is going on, while we're watching literally the entire globe burn in flames, we're asking one of our presidential candidates what they like to eat. We're asking the other one, do they like Raisin Bran? But apparently, if you ask them if they like caffeine or tea, beer, wine, or bourbon, they're going to tell you that they like wine. Favorite indulgence, Doritos. and I like to eat with a knife and fork. That's what Ms. Harris said. So these are the tough, hard-hitting questions that they're asking one of our candidates who could possibly be leading this country during a depression, during global unbalance, wars everywhere, deficits, massive debt, $313 trillion of global debt. We're almost at 36 trillion right here in America. This quite possibly could be our next leader. And I find it absolutely amazing that these are the type of questions that they're asking Ms. Harris. And again, I'm not going to sit here and get political, right, left, in the middle. Do whatever you want to do. But do you find this a little interesting that these are the type of questions that they're asking a candidate? I find it very, very uneasy and disturbing. Dow adds 200 points for first close above 43,000. S&P hits another all-time high. So everything is wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is great. So I guess the markets are going to keep going up while the economy continues to close. So let's take a look at how good things really are while the stock market is at all-time highs. Hardware wholesaler True Value files for bankruptcy, plans to sell to rival. That rival would be a company called Do It Best. I would expect that we're going to see a lot of their stores close and a lot of their employees lose their jobs because, of course, once this deal goes through, if it does, they're going to cut the fat. They're going to cut a lot of these stores that are not performing, and they're going to cut a lot of jobs. So market's at an all-time high, yet the economy is at an all-time low. This is very interesting. So what do you think about this, that we have a stock market that is absolutely soaring while we are quite literally seeing a depression in the U.S. economy? It makes no sense whatsoever. There's no fundamentals here. And one is very manipulated and one isn't. And you know that the markets are very, very manipulated. And do you believe any of the numbers now? The data that we're getting is to me is very unbelievable. They can tell you anything, but obviously, if they were telling us the truth, we would not be seeing the layoffs that we're seeing, the bankruptcies that we're seeing. Major U.S. banks on course to close a staggering 1,000 branches this year. You can go to Daily Mail, check out the list. 700 have already closed in the first 9 months of this year. So now you're going to have to travel farther to access vital services. So if you want to walk into a bank, talk to a human being, you're going to have to go farther because more than likely your branch has closed. Here's another one. And really quick, comment down below. Why are we seeing all these branches, all these bank branches closing down? What is behind this? Is there something nefarious going on here? Are the banks in trouble? Of course we know they're in trouble. But why do you think they're closing so many branches? Are things that great? Apparently they're not. That's why they're closing. Beloved New Jersey amusement park closes after almost a century in business. The Jersey Shore Amusement Park, Ocean City, New Jersey, closed yesterday. Another victim of the booming economy, ladies and gentlemen. The economy is doing so well that an amusement park in New Jersey, that big Ferris wheel that you would see on the Jersey Shore, almost 100 years in business. Iconic. It's a piece of American history closed down because the economy is doing so well, ladies and gentlemen. So again, stock market all-time highs, but why is everything closing? Why are so many people losing jobs? Goldman issues grim outlook for AutoZone, citing significant exposure to struggling working poor consumers. So you have low-income consumers under very extreme financial pressure. The working poor consumer is broke and can't spend like they once did, and they're going to remain under pressure through 2025, ladies and gentlemen. And companies like AutoZone are feeling the pain. So if everything was so good, how come we're seeing what we're seeing? And here's another one. I've been talking about this daily, but now the number is even bigger. 7-Eleven shutting down nearly 450 underperforming stores across North America. Last I reported, it was 400. Now we're at 450. We are watching an economic collapse take place right before our very eyes. I remember when people would write me and go, JB, you've been talking about this collapse for 3 years, 4 years. When's it going to happen? And I would tell people, you're watching it happen right now. This has not just started. We have been watching this collapse take place for years, but as long as they tell people the stock market's up, everything's fine, apparently. But it's going to take more than just having the stock market go up in order to convince me that everything is okay. Because I live in the real world. I live in an economy. I don't live on the stock market that can be easily manipulated with injections of monopoly money, where the Fed can just come out and say something, or somebody from the Fed can come out and say something and just, juice the markets quickly. It's too manipulated, too many corporate buybacks. There are no fundamentals behind these markets. But what we do know is the economy is much more difficult to manipulate. We are seeing real people get laid off. We're seeing real companies closing down. We're seeing iconic small businesses that have been around for 100 years plus shut down for good. Some people have eyes, but they have no vision. They have eyes, but they have no vision. They can look, but they don't really see what is going on. Please open your eyes. Please pay attention. And this is absolutely horrifying. New York City rents 150 hotels at $352 per room each night to house newcomers through 2025. How do you feel about this? Comment down below. And who's paying for this? Who is paying for this $352 per room per night, which is costing New York billions of dollars? You know who's paying for it. It's the taxpayer paying for this. And again, this isn't political. It isn't right, left, or in the middle. This is right versus wrong. I just think that it's horrible that we have people in the Southeast struggling at this point to get electricity, to get food and water, to get help after they've lost everything. Yet somehow, somewhere, we have $352 per night, per room, through 2025, billions of dollars to pay for these people. And look, I have empathy for people wherever they're from. I have empathy and sympathy for all people. And guess what? I have even more sympathy and I have more empathy to those Americans out there in the Southeast who have lost everything, who've been paying taxes literally their whole life and have gotten no help whatsoever. This is a complete slap in the face. Let me know your thoughts on this. King World News, man connected in China at highest level says $10,000 gold is in sight. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. It wouldn't take much for it to happen. U.S. government has boosted spending to 40% of GDP while its deficits are 8% of GDP, financed by fiat money backed by absolutely nothing. Wars, Cold Wars, proxy wars, global trade war looming. All this is going to keep inflation elevated on top of all of the money we're printing, on top of all those munitions, all those drones, all those F-16s, all the government subsidies, you name it, it goes on and on and on. Of course, inflation is not going away. We live in a very dangerous world, ladies and gentlemen. And in my opinion, I don't think paper money is going to protect you. I think this is the time that you better be holding real things that you can get to, that you can touch with your own two hands. Because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Gold, silver is what I'm using to preserve my wealth, my circle of friends, my family doing the same thing. Many of you continue to ask where is a good place to buy metals. You can go to my link down below, SD Bullion. It's where I've been buying metals from for 7 years now. So if you need some gold, if you need some silver, go to SD Bullion, link down below. Because look, if it goes to $10,000 an ounce, if it goes to $5,000 an ounce, think about the world you're going to be living in. It's going to look a lot worse than Mad Max Thunderdome. It's going to be bad. But if you don't have real money, if you don't have these assets, you're going to be in very, very serious trouble. So protect yourself. And again, this isn't one-dimensional. Make sure you're protecting yourself financially. Make sure you're protecting yourself spiritually, mentally, physically. But if you're looking to protect yourself financially, my opinion, I don't give financial advice, gold and silver is a great place to start. Extremely liquid, recognized throughout the world. You can convert to any fiat currency in the world with gold or silver. Again, go to my link down below, SD Bullion. China deploys record 125 warplanes in large-scale military drill in warning to Taiwan. This on the AP today. I do believe we're going to see another war coming soon in Taiwan. And I think America is going to find out very, very quickly that, the sanctions aren't going to work against China. And why is that? Well, because China makes everything. What happens if China sanctions America and says, we're not going to send pharmaceuticals to the US? What would we do? We're going to go to war with China? And that means we're going to be going to war with Russia too. I don't think that's going to happen. China could just say, look, we're going to stop shipping stuff to your stores. So the Walmart shelves will be empty, Target will be empty, Home Depot will be empty. They would put major corporations out of business literally overnight. And what would Americans do if they couldn't buy cheap products with this monopoly money that we have? So America better be very, very careful about what it's doing out there and how much we want to get involved with these wars. Because first off, half of our strategic petroleum reserves are gone. We are a bankrupt nation. We've sent so much of our munitions, drones, artillery to other countries, F-16s. We are running very lean right here in America. So I don't think that China is going to be intimidated by America, and we better be very, very careful what we're doing. So comment down below on that. Do you think we're going to see war in Taiwan soon? Is it 60, 90, 120 days out, 2 years out? I have no idea, but they're not doing this stuff for entertainment. 125 warplanes, that's a lot. China's really been flexing their muscle. And we should be very, very concerned, because I think the number one enemy of the United States of America, well, you could say the number one enemy of the United States of America is Washington, D.C., but a close second is going to be China. And we are too broke, too weak, and too dependent to win a world war against a country like China, which again would not just be China, it'd be China and Russia and Iran and many, many others. So we also have to be aware that we're going to see a financial warfare too, because these countries, the BRICS nations with their new financial systems, the SIP system, the new currencies backed by possibly gold, a lot is happening behind the scenes. These countries have huge militaries, huge banks, huge oil deposits, precious metals, minerals. We're just not going to fare very well against the BRICS nations, ladies and gentlemen. We will not fare very well. So we're not going to be able to stop what's coming, but I think the only thing and the best thing we can do is prepare ourselves. I'm going to do what the BRICS are doing. I'm going to do what the central banks are doing, and that is buy gold. I'm going to get myself in the best shape possible, know how to defend myself, protect myself, my family, my assets, put the food and water away, the gear away. Somebody made a good comment the other day. Get yourself a good pair of boots, a good pair of shoes. I wear Solomon's daily, a fantastic shoe. But make sure you have good footwear, because a good shoe, a good boot that you can fight in, that you can hike in, that is going to be worth more than gold. So make sure you have the right gear as we head deeper into the abyss here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave it there today. Comment down below on anything you want to comment on. Comment on any of these articles. Do your own due diligence. Do your homework. Google these articles. Go to The Hedge. Go to the AP. Go to the New York Post. Go to CNBC. Go to Fox Business. Go to the Daily Mail. Go to all of them. I'm very diverse here when it comes to this information and this data. So make sure you take a couple minutes out of your day. Don't believe me. Do it for yourself and research yourself. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. Be training. Be getting in shape. And be walking close to God. The number one asset out of all this is walking close to God, because we're all going to need direction. We're all going to need spiritual strength to get through this, because we're seeing some very, very evil things taking place right now. Look at what's happening in the music industry, what's happening in Hollywood, and that should tell you all you need to know right there. Have a good day. God bless. Talk to all of you soon.